Alright guys, welcome to the Legendary Banner predictions for July 31st, 2018 in Fire Emblem Heroes. I wanted to welcome everybody to our monthly fun as we totally missed the ball on every single predictions because Intelligent Systems doesn't like us. So anyways, more importantly, those of you on Twitch, say hello to YouTube, give them your hands up, hearts, and love. And those of you in the YouTube, I expect you to leave a respectable comment towards loving Twitch, because we are a great community together. More importantly, if you want to actually see the notes here that we're discussing through Legendary Banner predictions, the Discord is the place to be, so check that out in the description below. Let's get started. I'm going to talk firstly, as I always do, about some of the rules on how I make these Legendary Banner predictions, how my analysis works. It's important to realize that I do keep it as logical, conclusive, and predictable as possible within the limits of what Intelligent Systems actually provides me with. So here we go. For those that don't know, I've hit about 7 to, I believe my best being about 10 or 11 on most of these Legendary Banners. So I do fairly hit most of them, but it's not perfect. And most of the times when I don't hit it, it's because they change something around with the Legendary Banner. They change something. So last month's was an oddity a little bit because we had 3 seasonals instead of 4, and they also didn't double up on anything. As you can see here, 3 seasonals, and there wasn't like a double up, like green seasonals. Ravike showed up instead of what should have been like a double up on the green seasonal. The reason for this is likely because the New Year's seasonal banner, which got released in January of this year, didn't have a 4-person seasonal banner, which is what we're used to. So yeah, I think that's probably why, and I'm gonna just consider that more of like an oddity, that we're just going to go back to the standard formula that Intelligent Systems does. Instead of 3 seasonals, we're going to go back to 4. But all these other rules have been fairly consistent so far, and I want to go over them for those of you that are still new for how they do make these Legendary Banners. So there have been a few duplicates, but not that many. The ones that namely have happened have been through the colorless. The colorless pool has a smaller pool than most, so that's why they have duplicates on what happens on the Legendary Banners. Some examples of this are like Elise and Innis. There's also been Jenny. So those are duplicates in the colors. They're always 5-star exclusives, so that's why I don't see something like Kagro there. Brave Heroes have been on repeat Legendary Banners, and that's because the quality of those units are really good. I expect once Choose Your Legends 2 comes out that we'll probably see those units showing up on Legendary Banners quite commonly, actually. So that's just another reason that you shouldn't feel pressured to save for Choose Your Legends 2, because you're probably going to see them a lot in the future Legendary Banners. And finally, Zygarde is the only one that did get repeated. Oddly enough, I have no idea why he showed up twice. I guess that must be like a popularity thing, or possibly because he showed up with Ryoma here just to balance the pool. I have no idea. That one made no sense to me. I can't really figure that one out. For those of you still thinking that Miss is going to happen because she's a 5-star exclusive colorless, you can just drop that idea. It's not happening, okay? It's just, she definitely disencourages people from summoning colorless, okay? Like if you show up Mist with Evgrima, nobody's summoning colorless. Colorless has already been like pretty bad the past few Legendary Banners. The only time it was pretty good was like Jenny, Halloween, Jacob, and Evgrima. But this is only if you had like hundreds of orbs, so you could actually get like lots of merges, or if you wanted Wrathful Staff fodder. So generally colorless is pretty poor. But as we see once I talk about this in a bit, I think that the colorless pool, the colorless options for this coming Legendary Banner should be pretty good. So those of you that want to be adding Evgrima merges, this will be the one to do it. Okay, so we'll go back to our 4 seasonals Legendary Banner. I think this is a given. This is only the reason it went with 3 was because of the New Year's thing. Every Legendary Banner has doubled up on seasonals. So this means there's been like 2 green seasonal units on Legendary Banner, or 2 blues. Once we had 2 colorless as well. An example of this was like back a couple of them, we had like Summer Xander and Performing Arts Azura, for instance, as like doubling up on seasonal units on a color. That's one of them. That was, I think, the 2nd or 3rd Legendary Banner, but it's been pretty consistent up until the most recent one. Okay. We always have 4 Legendary Heroes of 4 different colors. This is just to give people an incentive to add merges to your Legendary Heroes, or just to make every single color at least somewhat appealing. We haven't seen any units that were added within the last month to a legendary banner. This has been fairly consistent as well. I think they obviously don't do this to give older units a chance to make a revisit, and they've always been pretty good. I wanted to put here all units are fair game in like asterisks though, and what I mean by this is anything that's a 5-star exclusive is fair game, okay? So even though they generally tend to prefer units released recently, which were things like, you know, the banners that have been this past year. So you have units like Micaiah, Zelgius, Harden, Fallen Celica, F. Morgan. These are the units they prefer to put on these legendary banners, but I feel like, you know, they do put really good quality units from previous, like the previous year here as well. So that was like Young Tiki, Zygarde, and probably maybe even Ira. Like these are all really good characters that have shown up in the past year that I think could show up here. Okay, and another pattern we also have is 2 females, 2 males, 2 females. So most recently we just finished with 2 males, and that happened to be Legendary Ryoma and Hector. Before that we had F. Grima and Legendary LYN. So it's predicted that a female legendary hero should show up. Okay, so one other thing I've noticed is they do not double up on the new heroes that show up on legendary banners. What this means is you don't have like Harden and Grima on the same legendary banner, or you don't have something like Zelgius or Micaiah on the same legendary banner. So I feel this rule is still applicable. It wasn't applicable to the first or second legendary banner where we did have Daedra and Ira on the same banner. That did happen, but I think after that they have decided not to double up on new heroes. And to be fair, Daedra and Ira technically weren't on the same banner, but we'll not get into that discussion. Okay, so future legendary banners. Some things I've noticed, but I won't add it to the rules yet, is there has actually been a colorless archer on every single legendary banner, and I think this will stay true going forward. There hasn't been a legendary banner without an archer there. This is something I've noticed. Even like Summer Gaius was an archer, and he ended up being so Bravelands, Summer Gaius, Faze, Takumi's, whatever. There's always been a colorless archer, Halloween Jacob. So I feel like this might be a strong rule going forward. And finally, I've noticed they've always gone for like 2 physicals and a magical split on every single color. So it's very important to balance the colors themselves and not like triple up on physical units or triple up on magical units. There are exceptions to this, obviously. I've noticed like Fjorm, Harden, and Winter Robin ended up being 3 physicals, and there were a couple of this happening in the early days as well. I think they definitely had something like, I just can't remember, but there's definitely like triples of swords or triple of axes or something like that where they did not do a split, but generally there's a split. There ends up being like magical damage with 2 physical units, something like that, whether it's a dragon and, you know, swords or axes. But generally that seems to be the case. So what I try to do is I make some balance in those predictions that way. Anyways, let's get started into the actual units. We'll start off with the red. This time we know that the lobster is coming up first. As you notice, there's our beautiful flying chicken lobster. I've listed out all the 5-star exclusives that have not shown up on a legendary banner yet because I feel they have a possibility of being on there, but what the most likely candidates would be. That's why new considerations versus old considerations. So, Ikram, Swordheart, NY, Camilla, and Lene. We know Legendary Ryoma will be here. If we're going to go for it here, I would assume that what's going to happen next is likely Ikram. And the reason Ikram is likely to show up here is because we had F. Morgan show up on the previous legendary banner, so this is a good opportunity for them to round out the newer heroes that showed up in this current year with that particular banner. So Ikram's a very good unit. He comes with chill defense. He's also a very strong unit himself, especially if you have like a plus speed IV with Sealed Falchion and Desperation and Hone Cav. He can reach plus 40, like over 40 speed easily, and I've used him tons on my free-to-play account with success doing that. He's actually super strong, and he's really good against dragons because Sealed Falchion does that. So super good unit to pick up. He's the only one with, you know, dragon killing effects on a horse, so, you know, definitely a good candidate, and nobody can really be upset that chill defense is extra. I know we're getting Wallheart coming up, but, you know, chill defense, it's really good. Also Sword Valor, but who cares about Sword Valor, right? It's on like 7 units by now. Finally, to round out the seasonals, I think what's going to happen next is NY Camilla. And I know I just mentioned that there is like a balance of magical and physical units, but I think this might be the exception here. Just because there's no real good candidates for red magical damage out of the newer units this past year. If it was to be something that isn't one of these units, I feel like it probably would be something like Katarina maybe because of a refinement coming out. But that's a long shot, and I feel like that's likely not the case. So, yeah, NY Camilla, she's got that supportive weapon, Katamatsu. And honestly, guys, Katamatsu, the reason I think this is really good is because if we're truly going to go into the whole arena meta where your bonus skill gets you 3 additional points, this seems like a really good time for NY Camilla to show up on a legendary banner. As people prepare their arena units, like their arena core units, with these supportive weapons, you just inherit Katamatsu, and then you're super buffing like Alphonse or Shrena or Anna every week with that weapon. This is a perfect weapon for that. So it feels like kind of Illuminati that this might happen, and I feel like it will. Like NY Camilla, I'm super confident in. E-Crom just makes sense because F Morgan just happened. And LA Rioma obviously has been confirmed to come back. So I'm pretty confident in my red. I think these 3 will definitely show up. The only one that may not would be like E-Crom with some sort of, you know, they might just do something crazy, maybe put in like Katarina. I don't think so though. I feel like we're pretty set on these. Okay, moving on. In the blue, we have a new legendary hero. Now, before I show any of those in the blue, especially the new legendary hero, I want to talk about what potential candidates this would be. Now, in the rules above, I didn't mention what I truly think is the candidates for legendary heroes, but it seems pretty clear so far that we've had 1 movement type maximum per blessing. And what I mean by this is they haven't doubled up on any movement types in a particular blessing. So if you look at something like wind, you have an infantry, legendary LYN. You also have a cavalry, Gunthro. If you look at water, you have a flyer, Rioma, and an infantry, Fjorm. If you look at fire, you got a cavalry in Ephraim and armor with Hector. And finally, with earth, you have legendary Ike, which is infantry, and F Grima, which is flyer. So what is predicted, and we have some confirmation that wind is the next season. Wind already has infantry and cavalry, which leaves us with either armor or flyer. And I don't think they will just go back to back to armor units. That seems a little weird. So it's probably wind flyer. That seems a little bit odd to me. I'm looking at canon like lords and really important characters in Fire Emblem Heroes, not Fire Emblem, but the Fire Emblem franchise in total, and wind and flyer generally don't happen on any like really important protagonists or even antagonists for that matter. So do they go for like somebody that's not so important but someone popular? This could definitely take us by surprise. But you know, since Hector seemed to come up as the most obvious choice for you know, armor axe, right? I feel like if we're just going to go for the complete obvious, it has to be Celica, right? But, and the reason I choose Celica, and this would be like a blue tome flyer, this is the most like obvious, safest choice for intelligence systems to make. The reason I chose Celica though, even though she doesn't fly, it makes like no sense why she would fly, but beyond that, she could technically be blue, a blue tome mage, because she uses light, and you know, Thani from Akaya uses light, so they could put her as like a blue tome flyer, and I guess that would be like the safest bet. Now, you know, some people said, oh, but Hector's coming out with Choose Your Legends 2. You know, why did they make a legendary Hector before Choose Your Legends 2? What does it matter, right? What does it matter? You know, they had a legendary Hector literally like a month or 2 probably before Choose Your Legends 2. It's the safest bet, just make another Celica alt. It seems like the safest choice. So if I was to take a guess here, I feel like blue tome flyer would be the thing, with her having some sort of light magic, some like Omega Ragnarok or something on a blue tome mage, and that would just completely destroy the fact that Summer Camilla just came out and Summer Corrin right before, and then F Morgan's kind of just on the previous legendary banner like, hey guys, what about me? So yeah, I don't know. Some people may have like guessed like maybe supposing like why isn't it something like, it could be Excalibur too actually. I think she can use Excalibur, and that's wind magic. So it could be some Omega Excalibur, Giga Excalibur. I don't know. This is what I think about Celica, but I feel like that's green and not blue. So I feel like it'll be light magic. Some people might be guessing, like, why isn't it Corrin? And I think for Corrin particularly, seems like the most element that would apply to Corrin would be water and not wind. With Celica, I feel like it could be wind. So there's no correlation here that I can put together. This is a really random legendary hero, and it's going to take me by surprise. But if I was to just go with the most safest, obvious bet, this is what I would guess. So blue tome flying mage is what I would say with Celica. But if I was also to like have other choices, I would probably say Micaiah herself seems like, you know, if you can do Flying Mage Celica, then why not Micaiah? Micaiah doesn't have an ult yet. She's fairly popular as well. She's actually in the top 10 of females. So why not Micaiah, right? So I feel like Celica or Micaiah are definite candidates for this. Now, finally, and this will be my creative guess coming up. So, Blue Tome, Flying Mage, Celica, or Micaiah, not canon promotions by any means, but I guess Flying Turkey Ryoma with Raijintu isn't canon either, so, you know. But here's my creative guess. I think it might actually be Naga. So, this would actually be a blue flying dragon, which we don't have yet. Would it be wind? I guess it could be. I don't see why not. She does technically fly or hover. Same thing. We don't have a blue flying dragon. And she's pretty popular, actually. If you look at the Choose Your Legend results again, dragons are very popular. She is definitely considerate of her legendary status. Makes sense to me. We have a green flying dragon, a red flying dragon. We have a colorless flying dragon. We don't have a blue one yet. So that's the thing. The reason I don't think Naga could happen, though, is she might not be popular enough to warrant this. But we'll see. This is my creative guess. So let's see if it could be Naga, okay? What she would have, I don't know. But it would be pretty strong. Knowing them, they always do something crazy with these units. Next up, Ishtar. Why Ishtar? Okay, so if you want to bring in the newer units that are coming up next, it seems most likely to be Ishtar. She's really good when she has auto attack wave as fodder. She also has Swift Sparrow, so really good unit to just either merge up, use. Really powerful. Auto attack wave is one of the best C skills in the game, especially for blade mages. So this is a really easy choice. Remember, sometimes they make the quality of the legendary hero sharing not so good. If you look at legendary Ryoma, it was like Young Tiki and Zygarde. That wasn't so good, but then we had legendary Hector with Myrrh and Bravelyke, which was like really good, other than Myrrh not really having much fodder, but Bravelyke being amazing sharing with him. So I don't think they would tarnish the blue pool by any means. Finally, we have Neffaney. Same idea. Even though Neffaney is currently on a banner with Wrath, I feel like Neffaney still is my prime candidate to be on a legendary banner. For some reason, she never showed up. I don't understand why. But neither has Alencia, I guess. Neither Alencia nor Neffaney showed up. So this seems really odd to me why they haven't done Neffaney yet. She's still one of the two units that share Wrath, right? So this has to happen. There's no other real choices I really feel would be in the blue. I mean, you're looking at popular choices like Azura maybe, and if they really wanted to tarnish the blue pool, that would be a good idea. Delthea has Dark Aura and Drive Attack as being like the levels of Leaf. You got Ephraim, he's pretty popular. He's a good refinement, but he doesn't really have fodder. Honoka has Home Flyers. She could potentially be there. Yeah, so I guess Tana with Guidance could be pretty good as well. I don't know. It just, to me, it makes most sense. They want to sell and push these legendary banners, so I feel like Neffaney has to be showing up on one of these legendary banners eventually, for sure. So that covers our blue. I think this one is my reasoning for being the most like uncertain of with you guys, to be honest. Like I'm pretty confident in my red, but the blue is kind of like out there. I feel like Ishtar is my confident choice of the blue, with Neffaney and the new legendary hero being like, what is going on here? Like, what could possibly happen? All right, and the green pool. What's going to likely be another strong bunch of candidates here, other than LYN. But at least LYN has speed tactic, right? For now, it's still a pretty exclusive skill. So legendary LYN, she does technically score the most of the wind heroes, but with the blue hero coming up, I feel like that crown is going to be taken from her now, which degrades the value of her. But LYN is super popular, so everyone's going to be always trying to get copies of LYN if they want to. Even me, man, I want legendary LYN just to have a copy and then laugh because it's like, what is this green bow unit, right? So, winner Lisa, long overdue, should be showing up now. They need to really finish off all the winter units. This is the only one missing. She has Bold Fighter, which already makes the green pool really good for pulling. Handbell is also really good for inheriting. I mean, like, there's nothing really to be said about Winter Lisa. Super good unit, scores really well as well. 175 BST if you care about arena or arena cores, arena assaults, or just if you have tons of orbs to spend. Winter Lisa is a good candidate for merging up and using. She's also really cool. I like Lisa, as most people already know. Finally, LYN. So, why did I choose LYN over something like LA Hector perhaps, or even M Grima? So I'm going with the rules of doubling up seasonals. I think it'll come back, so we should get Winter Lisa and LYN because there's so many. If you look at the considerations for what I consider units that have to show up on a legendary banner, it's bloated, guys. There's so many green units here, so they have to really push these seasonals and get through them as fast as possible. Now, I don't think they would put LA Hector here. That would seem ridiculous. If they did put LA Hector, we would have 3 banners back to back with like must pulls. Like legendary LYN is still worth getting merges on, even if she's not the greatest unit. She's still a legendary hero, and legendary heroes provide so many points to the rest of your team. So if you ended up having a high merge legendary LYN, you'd still be in a good spot, especially considering something like LA Hector or Winter Lisa both being on a banner. I don't think they would do it again. Maybe they would, but I don't think so. So LYN, unfortunately not that good. They really got to round out. If they're going to put Winter Lisa here, they really got to round out the quality of the banner. LA Hector would be too ridiculous with Distant Counter, Bold Fighter, and a legendary hero all sharing. I mean, you got to kind of space out the quality of these banners, and we should probably see LA Hector, the next legendary banner. LYN, at least she's cute, right? Now for Colas, F Grima for like the 4th or 5th time in a row. They just really don't like Colas, I guess. And who can blame them? There's like nothing in the Colas pool. At least they're trying though with the most recent release of Maribel. So Maribel could definitely show up on a future legendary banner. F Grima is still a great unit. I'm personally just waiting for them to drop 2 other units that F Grima shares with that I could spend a couple hundred orbs in, get some merges on her, or get some really good fodder. It just hasn't really happened. Okay, so who's F Grima going to share with? Well, Honoka. It's her time. Honoka comes with a lot of exclusive skills and is also a very good unit herself. She comes with Fire Guidance and Fire Formation. Those are 2 very good skills on fire teams. She's got Warrior Princess, which is a unique weapon to her that's effective against armors and flyers with drive attack built in. It's a very good weapon, especially if you set up like Desperation and such. She's got Attack Speed Bond. So this character is insane for fodder, especially if you want to build out and customize your teams properly. Considering F Grima's also here, sharing with her, you could build a pretty solid team already with those 2 units. Colas don't really have like any weaknesses. I mean, Raven Tomes don't really count. Anyways, yeah, Honoka, I think it's her time to show up. They really got to give us some reason to pull Colas. And finally, Kagro. With 4 seasonal units being on a legendary banner, and I feel like they'll continue doing that, it just means that Kagro is our 4th seasonal. They really got to make Colas good. This is 3 flyers in Colas, which would be a new kind of pattern here. The only other thing I see happening, other than Kagro, could be maybe that they put Katria in blue, and then choose somebody like Takumi or Faye or Jafar here in Colas. So this Colas pool could be insane, but it really needs to happen. They really need to give people a reason to pull Colas. This is also a very good set of units to have in the colorless pool. So just like I mentioned about Honoka, S-Kagro has that lethal carrot, which is still unique. It's a Wodao dagger exclusive to seasonal units. She's also probably the best dagger unit in the game, other than Soth. So yeah, this colorless pool would be amazing, and I would probably pull myself. Looking at the banner overall, if this was to happen, I probably will be pulling in colorless and probably blue. Maybe even a little bit of red. I mean, there's so many good options. It would, as a new player, this banner would probably be one of the better ones to go full circles on, because you can get value out of every single orb here. Generally speaking, it's always been kind of like a bad idea to go for every single color, because there's always like a color that isn't too good. And I'll talk about this in my legendary banner impressions in a few days when it does come out. But generally speaking, you kind of want to avoid like 1 or 2 colors, because there ends up being a unit that doesn't have good fodder, or adding merges them doesn't really give anything either. So for example, the dancers, the performing arts dancers that happened to show up on the banners recently, like they don't really have good fodder. It wasn't really worth pulling the color for it. But if you get like multiple copies of Ishtar, that's like odd attack wave on multiple units, Neffaney with Wrath, legendary heroes always increase your scoring potential. They're also good units in Arena Assault or the Blessed Gardens or something. Red has, there's this overall, I feel like this legendary banner would be the best for value out of your orbs if you pull all colors. Okay guys, so that pretty much concludes our legendary banner predictions for July 31st of 2018. If you feel like I may have missed something, or you have your own predictions or suggestions, feel free to let me know in the comments below. I'll take a look at your ideas. Some of you guys from previous legendary banner predictions did kind of give me some good ideas for what I've included into these ones going forward. And yeah, hopefully they keep up the good quality of these. I highly recommend always pulling on legendary banners, because as long as you're not sniping a particular unit, you get good value. You should be getting, a 5-star every 50 to 60 orbs, and that really opens up customization options for inheriting skills onto other units. Plus, legendary heroes are crucial for securing top ranks in Arena Assault, as I've proven through my main and free-to-play account. Either way, if you want these notes, they'll be available through my Discord, so go check that out in the description below, and I'll see you guys in the next video, okay? Peace.